When you research it and you look it up, it says that Neom boasts to be 33 times the size of New York City. And that number is very important and very significant. To anyone that studies and that reads and that researches, you know what the number 33 represents. And these are actual articles that show this. 33 times the size of New York. They could have said it was 2 times the size of New York, 10 times, 5 times, 100 times, or double the size, whatever. Why 33? Of all numbers, 33? That's a red flag right there. That's a red flag. When you go to the actual website, neom.com, neom.com, you go to the website and you look at the flash presentation as you go through the different menu categories to see what's going on with the site. In the flash presentation, it tells you, welcome to the center of world trade. The last place I know to be the center of the world trade or the World Trade Center is New York City. That's 2 red flags. Continuing in the flash presentation, it tells you the crossroads of the world. The only place I know to be the crossroads of the world that was always mentioned during quote unquote New Year's with Dick Clark with the dropping of the ball, live at the crossroads of the world, is New York City. And now, when you look at the site on Neom, it tells you that this place is being called the crossroads of the world. That's 3 red flags. Why do I say they're red flags? Because if we watch and we're paying attention, all the elites do is put the truth in our face through predictive programming. They let the people, the public, know what they're going to do by putting it in their face.
It was a movie like no other movie, and it had a profound impact on New York. That story next. We'll hear from people who, like you, watch the ultimate disaster movie tonight on television.
This is Eyewitness News with Mark Haynes, Ann Butler, Bill Gutch, Jerry Azar, and the Eyewitness News team.
Good evening. Here's what's happening. Most of you who watched the ABC movie The Day After are probably still feeling just a little numb right now. Maybe you discussed what you saw with your family and friends. It still leaves you, though, wondering about life, about the world, and about what you'd do if you knew the nuclear missiles were in fact on the way here. Well, our reporter McGee Hickey has been out all night gauging New York's reaction to The Day After.
More than 700 people packed Riverside Church tonight to watch The Day After. Many said they came here because they were afraid to watch it alone. While the TV movie was being shown, the streets of New York were a lot less crowded than usual for a Sunday night. Even in the Times Square area, which is usually so crowded, these streets are relatively empty. And ticket sales at some movie theaters were off by as much as 50%. Why aren't you at home watching The Day After?
Well, I had commitments and I had to go out, that's why. But I really would like to see it.
I'm at work and I'm on my lunch break right now, but my mother's home watching the movie right now.
Most bars in the city showed The Day After on their screens. Business at this bar dropped off by half.
This has been so hyped in the other areas of the media that people are just sticking home to watch it, and it's affecting us dramatically here.
I teach 4th grade at St. Anthony's in the Bronx, and I think that my children will want to discuss this tomorrow, and I want to make sure that I caught it.
You could have stayed home.
Well, I was out this evening, and I needed to find a place with a television, and this seemed the most appropriate.
Once the TV movie was over here at Riverside Church, volunteers passed out pieces of stationery and asked everyone to write a letter to a loved one detailing their reaction to the TV movie. This woman wrote a letter to her 2-year-old daughter. Under the letter, a carbon to be sent to the White House.
My letter says that I witnessed an illustration of the horrors of nuclear destruction and what it can do. And I promise her that in some way I will try to make sure that we never have to experience that.
They always let you know. Always.
A new public service announcement from the city's Department of Emergency Management warns New Yorkers about what to do in case of a nightmare scenario.
So there's been a nuclear attack. Don't ask me how or why. Just know that the big one has hit, okay? So what do we do?
The department says it released the video despite the very low likelihood of a nuclear attack taking place, and it reports no specific threat has been made to the city. The new PSA comes after a survey found New Yorkers felt the least prepared for a no-notice event like a nuclear attack. It advises 3 steps in the event of an attack. Step 1, get inside. Step 2, head to a basement or a middle of a building and remove all outer clothing. And Step 3, monitor updates from the government and the media.
They always let you know. Always. They always let you know what they're going to do. And it always happens. Why? Because they're the ones controlling it. They're the ones that's doing it. It's no coincidence that all of a sudden now, everything is about UFOs. At one time, it used to be arguments. Maybe you saw something wrong. I don't think you saw that. Or could it have been? And no, now you see news reports tell you clear. A UFO was saw here. A UFO was... What are they doing? There's different plans and agendas that they have in motion. There's different things, meetings and conferences that they do in regards to their plans and agendas. They actually had a test run on what to do in the event of an outbreak with Event 201. That's something you can look up, Event 201.
This is the website for the Event 201 or 201, which took place in October 2019 in New York. It was basically a global pandemic exercise, as it says in the subtitle, a simulation of an outbreak of a global pandemic based on the coronavirus. Now, mind you, October 18th, 2019. Let me read the scenario. You can find that website under centerforhealthsecurity.org/event201/about. Here's the scenario. Event 201 simulates an outbreak of a novel zoonotic coronavirus transmitted from bats to pigs to people that eventually becomes efficiently transmissible from person to person, leading to a severe pandemic. The pathogen and the disease it causes are modeled largely on SARS, but it is more transmissible in the community setting by people with mild symptoms. The disease starts in pig farms in Brazil, quietly and slowly at first, but then it starts to spread more rapidly in healthcare settings. When it starts to spread efficiently from person to person in the low-income, densely packed neighborhoods of some of the megacities in South America, the epidemic explodes. It is first exported by air travel to Portugal, the United States and China, and then to many other countries. Although at first some countries are able to control it, it continues to spread and be reintroduced, and eventually no country can maintain control. There is no possibility of a vaccine being available in the first year. There is a fictional antiviral drug that can help the sick, but not significantly limit the spread of the disease. Well, it starts with I, doesn't it? Since the whole human population is susceptible during the initial months of the pandemic, the cumulative number of cases increases exponentially, doubling every week. And as the cases and deaths accumulate, the economic and societal consequences become increasingly severe.